Hello and welcome back to the Team JDG YouTube channel. I am Justice, and today I am here to tell you all that I have finally done it after a long time of topping plenty of Win-A-Boxes, but never winning that Win-A-Box. It has been done. That's right, I am recording this only a couple hours after finally wrapping up the win. I have won the most recent Win-A-Box tournament in the Speed Duel League, hence the logo. And I am here to share with you all the deck that got me there. So without further ado, let's jump over to the deck list where I will go over card by card exactly what I played and why it worked. So here we go. This is it. This is the deck that won the tournament for me. We have at Judgment Gaming dubbed the deck Banisherdown. This is a true team effort of a deck, honestly. The initial idea, of course, credit goes to Nightblader, first for beatdown squared as a general idea, and then further for Banisher of the Radiance being just an amazing tech card in the format. This card actually stops so much of what people want to do. And again, this is, for those of you watching right now, a reminder that this Win-A-Box was pre-midterm format, so this is GX box format. Banisher does so much. It stops so many things. This card won me plenty of games. I had the displeasure of playing against Twisted Personality Volcanics 3 different times during Swiss rounds. Banisher of the Radiance is absolutely huge against them because it just turns off Blaze Accelerator. They just cannot activate the card. Well, they can activate the card, but they can't use the effect. Hey. It's so good. Also during Swiss, I played against my finals opponent during Swiss as well, Yugioh. Credit to him for getting to finals, playing the Ojam armed OTK deck. And yeah, you can't activate Ojam Match with Banisher on the field. Really big deal. The rest of the deck just functions around the idea of the beatdown skill, which I realize we should probably have pulled up so you could see it. So let's go to custom cards. For those of you who don't know what beatdown does, here it is. If you control a level 5 or higher monster, you can activate this skill. All monsters you control gain 300 attack for each level 5 or higher monster you control. Flips down at the end of the turn. It is a once per turn skill. So, Charging Gaia, by itself, you can normal summon for 1900, get 300 attack point boost, goes to 22. Cyber Dragon is amazing in this deck. It's a free special summon that also is a level 5 monster, so contributes to beatdown. Jinzo, of course, is Jinzo. Very good. It is also a level 5 or higher monster, of course. Turning off your opponent's back row so that you can swing in freely is a big deal. These monsters are the core of the deck. Now, there was one slot left, and we decided we did want it to be a monster slot. This is definitely a flex slot, and honestly, I would probably change this card if I were to go back and rebuild the deck today. But Black Brachios wasn't terrible. The idea is that it allows you to swing over some things that you couldn't swing over otherwise by switching them to defense. It also has a niche use case, which came up, I want to say like once, but it can come up, where if, say, your Charging Gaia or your Cyber Dragon gets floodgated, your Brachios can flip them up. Now, they still can't change battle position, but it does increase the number of level 5 or higher monsters you have on the field to power up everything else. Remember, beatdown powers up all your monsters, not just your high-level ones. So if your field is, say, Cyber Dragon plus Banisher, Banisher will gain 300 attack from beatdown to go to 1900, which is a big deal. Other than that, we do play a fair bit of back row in the deck, because while your monsters can get pretty huge on your own turn thanks to beatdown, on your opponent's turn, they're not as scary. So, Book of Moon is incredibly versatile. It is the card that we run as the 3 of in this deck. I do think this is more important than, say, Breaker or DD Warrior Lady in this particular type of deck. Book of Moon obviously can protect your monsters. It also can flip down your, say, Charging Gaia to reset its stats. Another use that it has is, of course, you can chain to a floodgate to save your monster. You can, if you get hit by, say, a wall of disruption, you can then again reset your monster stats. So it can be used both offensively and defensively. It is a very flexible, very versatile card that this deck really, really appreciates. There is one copy of Dust Tornado. This is our only back row removal. There are versions of this deck that run heavier back row removal. I will say my teammate Blaze, who actually made top 4 with this deck, we had to play each other in top 4, unfortunately, is running more back row removal than I am. My thought process for this, and I will encourage you to adopt the same thought process, is back row isn't real. The idea is sometimes if they have it, they have it. But you also have so many tools of playing to play around back row. If you get hit by a floodgate trap hole, if you get hit by a wall disruption, we talked about the fact that Book of Moon can help you out there, but we also have a lot of tribute monsters. So if something gets floodgated or gets reduced by wall, tribute over it next turn, right? And then, okay, back row didn't matter. So I wanted a little bit, but just the one dust I thought was totally fine, and honestly, I don't even know that it's 100% necessary. You don't need a lot of back row removal with this deck, just because it's naturally so resilient. You do, however, want to play a bunch of back row. So we have our triple book, and then we have our battle traps. We have the Walls of Disruption, which I chose to run at 2, and Widespread at 3. I actually felt like Widespread was the more important of the 2 battle traps in the GX box format. I felt that way going in, and after having played through the tournament, I still feel that way. Now, how this will shake out in midterm format, I couldn't tell you yet. But in the GX box format, the Widespread is actually super good. Very, very impactful. Because a lot of times people are just having one monster they're attacking with. So the Widespread is really good. Or at least only one real threat. But Wall of D is still very good. Obviously, it can be a very potent card. And very, very good. So that is your main deck. It is a true beatdown deck. But the Banisher is there to stop so much of what so many of your opponents want to do. And then you have a bunch of ways of backing it up. Probably think about changing out the Brachiosaurus. It was a cool little tech card that we tried out. It wasn't bad by any means, but could probably be changed. The rest of the deck I feel is very, very solid. On to the side deck. Ancient Gear Beast is amazing. I wouldn't necessarily main deck it, but it is a fantastic side deck card against any deck that's looking to play slower / stall, whatever. You can't be hit by a battle trap when it attacks. You're negating the effects of monsters it destroys. And as one, maybe two, I don't remember, but I think at least one of my opponents during Swiss found out the hard way, if it destroys a shell in battle, you can't use that shell to search for another one. Because that last line of text, negate the effects of an opponent's monster destroyed by battle with this card, including in the graveyard. Not just for that turn. So if you destroy a shell by battle, if they set it to try to save their life points, Gear Beast runs over it, that shell isn't doing anything. So that's really, really nice. Did side possess Dark Soul for the potential Raging Cat matchup, since that was something that had been popular. Never saw it, never used it, would not side again, do not recommend. And no, that's not just because I'm biased because Raging Cat is my deck. It literally never came up. The deck's popularity really, really died down. So yeah, this was honestly a 100% wasted side deck slot. Nulman of Crossed Out is good, again, against decks that are looking to stall, looking to set things. The knock was good. In midterm format, you probably just switch this out for a Shield Crush and do the same thing, but slightly more flexibly, and then maybe even Brachiosaurus becomes better, because you can Brachiosaurus, switch something to defense, Shield Crush it, cool. Neat. So this probably becomes Shield Crush now, but the Nulman was good, it did come up a few times. Dust Tornado is, again, just for more back row heavy decks. Again, things like Volcanics, anything that wants to stall. Crystal Beasts, also good against them. So yeah, just the second Dust for decks that I know there are cards I want to hit. And actually, I didn't talk about this during the main deck portion, but another reason for not running a bunch of back row removal is Waking the Dragon is in so many side decks, and hitting that card feels really bad. And it's actually how I won my top 4 match against Blaze. We went to game 3, he hit my Waking the Dragon, and I won the game basically on the spot. I hate this card, Waking. I think it should not be in the format, but since it is, you have to be aware of it. So that's why I also don't run a ton of back row removal. Speaking of a ton of back row removal, we have Straight Flush. This was pretty specifically for Crystal Beast and Volcanics, since both of those decks want to fill up their back row. So Straight Flush can be a blowout card against them. I did use it in kind of a funny way. I think in 2 different Volcanic matchups, actually. They had like Blaze Excel +1 back row. They activated Wildfire, and I was able to chain the Straight Flush, if I remember correctly. If I have that all right in my brain. But yeah, so Straight Flush is flexible. It's only for certain matchups. I would not main deck it just because there's many matchups where it is a dead card. But for the matchups where it is good, it's very good. And then, of course, Waking the Dragon. Again, hate this card. It's stupid. Should not exist in our format, but here it is. You play the best cards you can play. And this is definitely a good side deck card. I might even... No, I don't think I would side deck a second one, now that I'm thinking about it. One is good. But again, you do run a lot of back row. So for decks that have back row removal, they're not siding it out. They want to use a back row removal. And again, Waking the Dragon can just absolutely blow them out. Yeah, it's a stupid card, but there it is. For Awaking, run whatever extra deck you want. I personally went Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Arcana Knight Joker, Destiny and Dragoon, Ryu Senshi, Ojama King, and Thousand Eyes Restrict. They all have their own uses. I'm not going to go super in depth with those because I think they're pretty well known. If you need any info on them, please, ask in the comments. I'll let you know what I think. But yeah, I think it's all pretty self-explanatory. So this is the deck. It's one of the most interesting decks I've played in a very weird way, because some decks that I've played, I felt like, wow, this deck is really powerful. It does some really, really good stuff. Like, it does some things that really make me feel like I'm applying a lot of pressure on my opponent, like I'm really pushing my win condition. Feels really, really strong. This deck doesn't really feel that way. You're playing beatdown, but like with enough, back row to like trying to control the board state. You're not doing anything like inherently unfair, so to speak, in a Yu-Gi-Oh way where you're just, doing anything super crazy. But because Banisher can shut down so many decks, because you can apply so much pressure with your big monsters that only get bigger with beatdown, and you can control the board with your back row, there's just so many different ways for you to win a game and to control the pace of the game, to control the flow of the game, that you don't have any like unwinnable matchups or any even like 2080s or something like that. Like, every matchup should be winnable. The weaknesses for this deck obviously are anything with huge defense or like huge attack points that aren't going to attack. So something like, say, Dragoon is actually extremely difficult for this deck to deal with. Not necessarily impossible, but incredibly difficult. Just 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense. If they don't attack into your widespread or something, then like, what do you do? So something like that is very difficult for this deck to deal with, but fortunately, that was not popular at all during this Win-A-Box, and it was a gamble that I made by not side decking for it either, because I just assumed that I wasn't going to play it, and my thought was, look, if I do, I do, and that's one loss. Like, it is what it is. But yeah, for the record, I did go 5-1 during Swiss, and then of course won all my top cut matches to take home the victory, which I'm really happy about. Again, it's my first Win-A-Box win. I've had plenty of top 8s. I've had a top 4. This was my first actual victory. So felt really, really nice. And it was a real team effort. Judgment Gaming as a whole came together to really help refine this deck list. I did put kind of my own finishing touches on it. Blaze, again, was running a slightly different version than I was, but the concept of Banisherdown is a Team JDG original. We all worked together on it. I'm super proud of my teammates. Really happy with my own play throughout this tournament. And feels really good to be rewarded with the win. So that is it for me. If you do have any questions about the deck list, any comments, anything you want me to kind of expand on, please do let me know in the comments below. And if you have gotten this far in the video, please let me know in your comment. Also put, let's come up with something for today. Thank Mr. Nightblader. Put that in your comments, because this is because of him. So thank Mr. Nightblader. Put that in your comments below if you got this far in the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all for sticking with Terramaster and myself throughout our journey with this channel. We're actually almost at 300 subs, so hopefully we get there very, very soon. It's been great to see the channel grow. I'm really glad that you've all been enjoying our content. So thank you so much for being with us. Really feels good to be able to share this with you all, with the community, before we move on to the next format. Yep. So I'm going to say thank you for the 100th time. Thank you. And that will do it for this video. So as always, my friends, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Good luck in all of your games. And we will see you soon.